my channel. So today we're sitting down and we're playing with the new Pat McGrath Love collection. Really only one item. I only picked up one item from the collection. It's the only thing that intrigued me, and it was her Pat McGrath Mothership eyeshadow palette in the shade Iconic Infatuation. It was the more rosy pinky tone one. Obviously these are very Pat McGrath-esque shades, but it's the only thing that caught my eye and I'm really excited to try it out. So we're gonna do some swatches and I look, a little mini review, all of the above. Before we get started, if you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And other than that, if you're excited and you wanna see me just testing out this new baby eyeshadow palette, let's go ahead and get started. So Pat McGrath recently released her whole Love collection. This is her like Valentine's Day collection. I am not going to lie, I wasn't super impressed or intrigued by a ton of the collection, and I feel like quite a few other people were on the same page as me. The color stories were pretty similar to every other Pat McGrath shades we have really ever seen. She did come out with an all matte palette like this with 6 shades. I don't really know who was asking for that. Maybe people are. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't. I'm not a huge Pat McGrath mattes fan, but she also came out with new like liquid eyeshadows. I thought about picking one of those up, but I really just don't use that type of product very often. And then she had some repackaged blushes that were old shades but in new packaging for like the Love collection, some her under eye powder, some lipsticks that looked like leftover Bridgerton lipsticks. So the collection was honestly a little odd in my humble opinion, and like I said, this was the only palette that really intrigued me. So this is the outer carton that it comes in. It says the Love collection. I went ahead and picked this one up because this type of palette is the same type of palette that the Bridgerton palettes have came in, and the first Bridgerton palette is like my favorite Pat McGrath palette. I love that palette so stinking much. So anytime she releases something in this sort of packaging, I feel like I'm gonna definitely take a double look. And then this color story was just so pretty to me. So this is the front of the box. Here we have the back. It says it's made in the USA of US imported ingredients, and it has a 12-month shelf life. So this is the same component. And then on the back, it has the shade names, the sticker. I like the packaging. I mean, it's pretty, very Bridgerton-esque. Obviously a little bit different because it's like different colors and all that. It has the heart and love and all that. I don't love this. Like, I feel like it's a little, I don't know, not my favorite, but you know what? The inside is what counts anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So when you open it up, you have these 6 beautiful shades. You have 3 mattes here and 3 more shimmery tones. Obviously, these are tones and shades that Pat McGrath has released a million times over. Honestly, I'm okay with it because I love these shades. I think they are beautiful, these like mauve-y, pinky sort of shades. She also had the all matte one, like I said, and then she had one that was set up like this that was a little bit more warm tone. I am not partial to warm tones really on me, so I went ahead and skipped that one, but I'm excited to try this one out. So let's go ahead and do some swatches. I'm just gonna swatch the top row and then the bottom row. So here's what they look like on my fingers. I mean, very, very pretty. I'm not going to lie. The first one we have right here is called Candlelight Affair. Just a typical champagne sort of shade that she puts in all of her palettes, but very pretty. Then this next one is a matte that's called Bare Venus. Ooh, I like that. I like the undertone of that, like a mauve pinky sort of shade. And then the last one on the top row is called Platinum Divinity, another shimmer, a little bit deeper and darker. Doesn't seem to have as much shimmer and glow as the more champagne color, but still very pretty. And then on the second row, we have 2 mattes and a shimmer this time. The first one is called Eternal Love. It's a really deep, rich chocolate matte. That's pretty. I like that a lot. Then we have Forever Adored. That's a cute name. Just a more warm tone sort of shimmer shade. I don't love that one swatched. Like the tone of it, and it's not super shimmery and shiny, but we're gonna try it out. And last but not least, we have Endearment, which is another matte shade. Not swatching the best, but it's a little bit more mauve-y of a shade. So here we have all 6 of them swatched for you. I think that it's a really pretty color story. Again, nothing unique, nothing crazy, nothing revolutionary, but still very pretty. And if it's anything like the Pat McGrath Bridgerton type of formulation, I'm gonna really like it. I don't know if it will be because in the Pat McGrath ones, the ones that I love from her are her like satin matte ones. She hasn't came out with that sort of formulation in any other palettes besides the 2 Bridgerton ones. I don't know why. that formulation is just so stunning and beautiful. And then in those palettes, we also got a couple special shades. No special shades in this one. A little bit of a bummer. I feel like she maybe should have thrown like one special shade in there. At least one in each palette, you know what I mean? Maybe not, obviously not the all matte one, but these other two. So I don't know, let's start playing with it on the eyes though and see how it applies there. I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes with my NARS Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. I definitely did not need this palette at all, but like I said, just this format really drew me in, and then the shades did as well, so I'm really hoping it's good quality. I feel like Pat McGrath has been making some interesting / questionable choices lately with her launches, including this Love collection. I don't understand the repackaging older products into new packaging, like the blushes. How cool would it have been if we had two new like pinky rosy blush shades, because her blush formulation is like the best blush formulation ever. I love it so stinking much. I own like 5 or 6 of them. She just went ahead and repackaged Flirtatious and Desert Orchid, which are 2 shades I already own, so I wasn't about to buy those. And then her under eye powder, she repackaged that. I don't understand. And it's not even like the packaging is new, it's just the outer carton, I think. I don't even think it's the actual component. I don't understand that whole choice, but I am not Pat McGrath and it's not my brand, so I guess it doesn't really matter for me to understand it. All right, we're gonna take this first shade right here called Bare Venus on a Referral 16. Ooh, okay, that has a little bit more pigmentation than I thought it was going to. It's showing up a little bit darker on my eyelid than it does in the pan. I feel like most of the time that happens with me though, with Pat McGrath mattes. I'm not super surprised by that. It doesn't really surprise me or upset me because it's something that I know. So if you're really fair like me and you pick up one of these palettes maybe, and you've never tried Pat McGrath, maybe keep that in mind, that her mattes can show up a little bit deeper. But that blended out really nicely and smoothly. I'm really impressed by that. Like I said, I'm not a huge Pat McGrath mattes fan. A lot of times it gets a little bit patchy on me, but this one is looking really good, and it was a good transition shade for me. So next up, we're going to take this one right here, which is called Endearment, I believe. And we're going to take that on a BK Beauty 202. We're going to start by packing it on the outer corner and bringing it up into the crease, just deepening it a little bit. This is the second deepest matte, so I figure this is the way that it's intended to be used. We're just going to do a nice gradient of the mattes. I like this color too. This one is a little bit more mauvey purpley, while this one was more, I don't want to say corally, but not as like mauvey on my eye. I kind of prefer this undertone, the mauvey one, but I think they're going together really nicely. They complement each other really well. They are getting slightly patchy on me, but that's nothing that I'm not used to with pretty much every brand ever. So I'm okay with that. Then we are going to take this deepest matte shade right here. Sorry if I just blinded you with the mirror. And this one is called Eternal Love, I believe. And we're just going to deepen the outer corner a little bit. This is on a Lunar Beauty LBE3 brush. And we're just going to pack a little, ooh, that's pretty. Pack a little bit of that on the eye. I didn't want to add too much. Oh, I like that though. That's a really pretty purpley undertone, which I do enjoy. I'm going to go back into that other matte, not the lightest, but Endearment, I believe. And we're just going to brush a little bit over that. And then a little bit more of Bare Venus. Okay, so that's looking good. I am impressed with those mattes. They are getting a tiny bit patchy on me, like I stated, like here, a little bit in my crease. But again, I'm not that upset about it. The Pat McGrath matte formulation in the past that I haven't enjoyed has gotten way more patchy on me than this right here. This is typical for me and my eyes and every brand. So I'm really not upset about it. I think it looks really nice. But now let's play with the shimmers. I'm probably going to do the same eye look that a lot of other creators are doing with these type of palettes, to just show you all 6 shades. You don't need to use all 6 shades in an eye look, but just a way to test them all out. So we're going to put NYX glitter primer on pretty much my whole lid. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cover these mattes in the outer corner. Unfortunately, I don't really want to. If I wasn't reviewing this palette and trying to use them all, I would definitely keep that outer corner matte. I think they look really good together. But like I said, I want to try to use all 6 shades for you guys. So we're going to use some NYX glitter primer. I always use NYX glitter primer no matter what. I know some people don't use them on first impressions, trying out palettes or any sort of base. They just go in with the shimmer straight away, but I literally never do that, ever. And this is so affordable that I just recommend you picking it up. It's like $6. The tube will last you forever. I had my first tube for like over 2 years and I used it every day. So I just think this is such a game changer that I think everyone should own it. And then we're just gonna do a gradient of the lighter shimmer to the middle shimmer to the deeper shimmer. But I do want to try them all out. So we're gonna take the deepest shimmer, which is called Platinum Divinity. Ooh, that's pretty. We're gonna put that out here. Then we're gonna take Forever Adored. I believe that's what it's called. Yeah. And put that in the middle. I don't love this shade. It's a little bit too like brassy, orangey, warm for me for this type of palette. I wish it was a little more cool tone mauve-y, but not the end of the world. And then we are gonna take this one right here called Candle Light Affair and put that right here. I mean, these are typical Pat shimmer shades. Obviously not her special shades. Those are the ones that are super sparkly and impactful and just absolutely stunning on the lid. This is just her shimmer formulation. It's pretty, nothing revolutionary by any means, but it is very, very pretty. They are all working together very nicely, blending together nicely. And I actually think that lightest shade will be light enough for me. Well, maybe not. I'll try it as an inner corner highlight. I have to be really picky with inner corner highlights because I'm so fair, but we'll give it a go, see if it's light enough. These two deeper shimmer shades are like kind of hard pressed in the pan. I'm kind of having to really dig my finger in to get the pigmentation on my finger. It's not like anything wrong with them. I don't know, it's a little bit harder to get the shadow on my finger. Just something I wanted to note. Trying to be nitpicky. Because these are not cheap palettes. I want to say this was $65. I did get 10% off because I used her code. She always comes out with like a brand new code whenever she releases anything. That usually saves you 10%, so that was nice, but it was still a pricey palette. Alrighty, and that is the eye look with all 6 shades. Again, I don't think that I would really use all 6 shades in an eye look. I would probably just stick to like 2 or 3 shimmers, 1 or 2 of the mattes, but I'm impressed. I'm actually more impressed with the mattes than I thought I was going to be. They were a little bit more buttery and smooth and less patchy than I kind of anticipated. And then I'm a little bit bummed with the shimmers. Specifically this one. These two are okay. I think they're really, really pretty. But it's like, was it worth the money? Probably not. But I just like this color story and I like this format, so I wanted to pick it up. But yeah, nothing revolutionary, nothing that you probably have to run out and buy, but it is very, very pretty. I do like this look a lot, and I think once the rest of my makeup is done, I will also really, really enjoy this look. So let's go ahead. I will do a speed through. Let's do a speed through of my makeup. I'll show you all the products I'm applying and me applying the rest of my makeup. And when I come back, we'll do my lower lash line and I'll finish up my thoughts on this palette. So let's apply the rest of my makeup. Okay, I understand why Pat McGrath did go ahead and repackage and re-release those two blush shades, because I went ahead and used Flirtatious, which is one of the blush shades that she did release with this collection, and it matches this eye look and this eye palette perfectly. And like I said, the other one is Desert Orchid, which I have in this little trio here, which is this one right here, and this one would go perfectly with the other eyeshadow palette she released, which is a little bit more on the warm tone. So I understand her thought process behind re-releasing both of those blushes, because they really do just perfectly go with the eyeshadow palettes she was releasing, but I still stand by the fact that I would have loved two new shades. Okay, to finish up the lower lash line, I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of this shade and then blend it out with this shade. We're going to take that deeper Endearment shade on a little flat brush and just kind of use it as liner. Stamp it about halfway over. And then I want to take that lighter Bare Venus shade and just buff that along this lower lash line. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you can see that darker shade a little tiny bit. I'll say I don't know if this is gonna completely like cover that up. It did a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. And then we are gonna try to take that lightest Candlelit Affair shade. I cannot remember the name of it. I think it's gonna be too dark, but let's try it in the inner corner. A little dark for me, but for this look and this review, we're gonna make it work. Not the end of the world. We're gonna also pop that on the brow bone here. Give it a little something, something. Okay, let me go ahead and pop on some mascara and some setting spray, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, for mascara, I went ahead and popped on the L'Oreal Telescopic Lift. Then for setting spray, I used my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, the best setting spray ever. And then I did want to go ahead and tell you what's on my lips. It's the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton collab in the shade Nude Romantique 2. So here is the final look for you guys using the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Iconic Infatuation palette. I really like it. I do. I think that this look is really pretty. Is this something that is revolutionary? No, definitely not. And I knew that buying this palette, that it wasn't going to change my life. These tones are not life-changing. They're not anything we haven't seen before. And the shimmer formulation, a little bit of a bummer, not gonna lie, but I mean, you can't deny how pretty they are on my eyes, and then the mattes blended together beautifully. So I think if you have the extra money in your makeup budget and you love these sort of tones, I don't think you'd be disappointed if you picked it up. Like, I don't regret buying this at all. I think it's definitely something I'm going to get use out of. But I definitely wouldn't say it's a palette that's life-changing that you need to run out and pick up, especially for the price point. But again, I knew that buying that. I'm not upset by that. I do think I will get a lot of use out of this. So let me know down below, what do you think of this palette, the swatches, the eye look, all of that? Did you pick anything up from this collection, or were you just like, yawn, boring, another pink Pat McGrath collection? Because if you felt like that, I totally understand you. I really do. But I would love to hear from you guys down below in the comments. Everything else I used on my face will be listed and linked down below for you as well. They are affiliate links. If you shop through them, thank you. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.